Hey man, I just wanted to do a quick response video to your how to make WWE better in 2011. I, I don't think it's bad per se, but it definitely needs work. First off, let's start with the PG rating. Um, I understand where they're coming from. They want as big of a fan base as possible. Kids, adult. So putting that PG, I think they tried to make it better. But I mean, if you think about it, even when it wasn't PG, back in Attitude Era, back in even the early 90s, late 90s, before, any time before it was PG, there were still everyone watching it. Little kids, adults, teenagers, and I didn't see that big of a problem with it. Um, I there were some things that were a little like during some of the bloodier matches, like cage matches, Hell in a Cell. Some of that stuff maybe you don't want like little kids watching, but I grew up watching stuff, all the wrestling stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I grew up fine. It's but again, this day and age, I think there's so many people out there that we want to protect our kids. We don't want our kids to grow up and shoot up a school or something. But either way, like you said, this is keeping us. Wrestling is keeping us, off the streets, keeping us away from drugs and alcohol. I mean, I drink, but I control it. You know what I mean? I go out with friends. I have a drink or two. That's it. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that. And I account a lot of that to wrestling. You know what I mean? I have something to do at night. You know what I mean? I'm not bored. I'm not like, okay, let's go out and do drugs or something. You know what I mean? So I think it helps. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling. But as for bringing back the Attitude Era, I kind of want something like that to come back, and I think they kind of started doing it a little bit with the Nexus. That kind of Attitude Era, in your face kind of thing. And they also, I think, kind of did it with a match that was a couple weeks ago. It was Kane versus Edge, and it was a false count anywhere, but they actually went backstage and you saw fans and everything around them. And I only remember seeing stuff like that during the Attitude Era. You know what I mean? When they would actually go into the backstage, where there would be fans around. You know what I mean? I like that. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool. But yeah, I think if you want to bring back the Attitude Era, you kind of need to. It's gonna take time. It's not gonna be overnight back to Attitude Era. You know what I mean? It's gonna take months, maybe a year, maybe more, because you don't just bring something that good right back. You know what I mean? You have to work on it. And then as for TNA, I know you mentioned TNA. I watch TNA and I like TNA. And I think TNA is going in a good direction to a point. They have a lot of the old WWE superstars who are still good. There's nothing wrong with them. They're still good. You know what I mean? They have Kurt Angle. They have Kevin Nash, who hasn't been wrestling or on the show in a while. I don't know what's up with that. But they have now both Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, they just have all these superstars that left WWE and went to TNA. But their issue is they need to work better on their storylines also. Um, Recently, it's just been like all Fortune and Immortal, and like that just, even when NWO took over or DX took over, you know what I mean? It wasn't all DX or all NWO. There was other stuff. You know what I mean? I think they're taking that way too far for that. Um, and I do agree that both companies need to build up on storylines. You can't just have somebody randomly attack backstage and then start a feud. You have to build that up. You know what I mean? If you do just have somebody attacked in the backstage, or I hate you out of nowhere, it's like, what brought this up? What did he do to you? What did you do to him? I don't know what's going on, blah blah blah. And I think that's what TNA and WWE do these days. They just try to, excuse me, jump right into things, and I think that's where they're having issues. I think as far as going back to the Attitude Era, I think Nexus helped a lot. You know what I mean? They had that faction that was, it was kind of like DX and NWO, but still not as good. They still needed to work on it. Because I think, as far as WWE and WCW, ECW, DX and NWO were the two best factions ever. Better than Fortune, better than, let me think, what else? Better than just Immortal, better than, what's that other one I can't think of? Legacy, better than Legacy. They just, they made their own rules, you know what I mean? It was edgy, it was exciting, it had good superstars in them. They had a mix of superstars. It wasn't just three big powerhouse guys. It wasn't just the top guys. It was, for example, DX, they had the two big, more famous guys. They had, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. They're big, you know what I mean? But they also had New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn. That helped their careers. They had X-Pac, helped his career, although he kind of screwed it up himself with all the drugs and stuff, but whatever. But I mean, they did it well, and NWO did too. Anyway, back to what I was. My next point is, I think you mentioned that Cena is basically the one big superstar, and he left, besides Undertaker and Randy Orton, and Triple H, who isn't really there right now. Hopefully he comes back soon. But I mean, again, back to Attitude Era. They had what I like to call the Big Four. They had Undertaker, Triple H, The Rock, and Stone Cold. They had those four big superstars, you know what I mean? And but it wasn't just them. Other guys got spotlight too, you know what I mean? Not as big as these four, but back in the Attitude Era, if you just came into WWE and you got a contract, or if you weren't the biggest guy, or if you weren't the top dog, you still had matches. It seems these days there's some guys on the roster, I can't remember last time I saw them wrestle. You know what I mean? Uh, it's ridiculous. Um, they definitely need to push younger guys, less popular guys, to build up future careers. You know what I mean? If you just push Edge, if you just push John Cena, if you just push Randy Orton, when they finally move on and stop wrestling, what do you have? You know what I mean? You need to push other guys. Like, you know, push guys like Justin Gabriel. That's just one offhand. Even though he's in the new faction, the core, with Wade Barrett, I think he will be, if they push him right, he's going to be a great superstar, along with Heath Slater. You know, and then, you know, there's the guys in the Nexus that are still there. I think you push them, they'll be good superstars. But even other superstars like, you know, Evan Bourne, just more. I think they need to bring back more cruiserweights, I guess. I think when they got rid of the cruiserweight title, the cruiserweights just died. I mean, yeah, they have Rey Mysterio, but he's the real only cruiserweight that's really popular, that they really push. You know what I mean? Like, they need the high flying action. They need the attitude. They need all this stuff back. And I know you said that you don't pay to go to these shows to see. And I'm almost done with this video because I don't have much time, but you don't pay to see Randy Orton, but you pay to see, a lot of people pay to see the bigger guys, the top superstars. Me personally, I pay to see the underdogs. I pay to see the smaller guys like Evan Bourne, Justin Gabriel, the Nexus, guys that aren't on top. I pay to see them because they entertain me. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think, and I'll look forward to seeing your videos in the future. See ya.